guys, welcome back. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. So today I wanted to take a second and chat about going plant-based, what it looks like to go plant-based, and some tips to make that transition easier if that's something you're looking to do, whether or not you want to go fully plant-based or you're just looking to incorporate more vegetables and plants into your diet. So let's get started. Tip number one is going to be to make small changes. So if you're still eating normally, which means you have meat, you have dairy, you have all kinds of other things in your diet, and you're looking to make those changes, start small. Maybe introduce a different kind of milk into your diet, into your daily coffee or cereal or whatever you're cooking with. Make small changes there. Try Meatless Monday, going a full day once a week without any meat, or maybe just going fully plant-based for the day. So even no eggs, no butter, no dairy, none of that. Make small changes because it's a lifestyle. If you're looking to do this for the long haul, you have to adjust. You have to make those small changes so it doesn't seem so overwhelming. Personally, I made small changes over several months before I made the big decision to be fully plant-based. And I've read a lot of stories and from a lot of other people who've chosen to be plant-based, and some of them went full cold turkey. And one day they were eating everything, and then the next day it was all done. And others of them said that they wish that they would have made changes gradually. So whatever you do, I would suggest making small changes that makes it seem less overwhelming, and you kind of get used to it as you're on your journey for a healthier lifestyle. Tip number two, try it for a week. So there are tons and tons and tons of plant-based bloggers and cookbooks and Instagram accounts, and there's so much out there. So I'd suggest trying it for a week. Sit down, look, find some recipes that you like, that you'll eat, and meal plan for a week so you can have an idea of what it looks like to grocery shop if you're plant-based, what it looks like to eat on a plant-based diet more regularly. You might find that you're more hungry, or you have to restructure how you build your meals because what you're normally eating, you're not getting the same balance of stuff, and so you're hungrier more. Give yourself a week to take that time and try it so you have an idea, so you know what to expect and you're not so overwhelmed by it. And nobody says that you have to go back to eating whatever after a week. You might decide, this is really great, I can do this, but at least if you give yourself that week, it doesn't seem like, oh well, I'm doing this forever and I can never do anything else. Try it. Make those small changes and give yourself the opportunity to figure it out. Tip number three, I was gonna say four, but three, do your research. Now, I will be one of the first people to admit that a plant-based diet isn't probably for everybody. And that's not to say that I don't love and support animals and the people who openly are vegan and that's a lifestyle for them. I think that's awesome, but I also think that everybody's body is a little bit different, and not everybody's body is going to thrive best on a plant-based diet. Yes, I think that a majority of diets should be heavily plant-based because that's really just what you need in nutrients and getting everything that you need, but some people thrive better with other stuff, and that's perfectly fine. You can Google and read everybody's story who went vegan or plant-based and everybody's story who chose not to, or who went back, and why they chose to do that and what was happening with their body. So do your research, consult a doctor if you have any deficiencies like iron deficiencies, maybe you're anemic, you've got other issues in that way. Make sure that you're talking to a doctor before you're just making big changes like this, because a plant-based diet, you might have to monitor yourself more carefully. You may not be getting some of the nutrients that you were relying on from meats and eggs and fish and other things before. So make sure that you do your research and look into whether or not this is gonna be the best thing for your body, because it's a wonderful diet, but if you're not healthy, I don't know, it's kind of, I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose just a smidgen if it doesn't make you the best and the healthiest and the happiest that you've ever been. If it's making you sick, then you might have to reconsider. Tip number four, define your why. So I wrote a blog post a couple of weeks ago on, it's called So You're Vegan, Now What? And one of the things that I mentioned is that you're gonna get a lot of questions. People are constantly asking because they want to understand, asking because they don't understand. It's just different for them, and so you kind of have to define your why. You're gonna find yourself in situations where you can't eat anything available, and you've either had to pack stuff or you're offending somebody because you can't eat something that they've made and provided, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that you have to know why you're doing what you're doing if you want this to stick around for a while, and you have to be able to explain it. You know, I personally chose to do this because it made me feel better. I felt lighter, I didn't feel sluggish, it just, a lot of the benefits of a plant-based diet made me feel better. But that doesn't mean everybody in my family has agreed with it. I've been to plenty of family holidays and events and other things where my grandmother looked at me like I was nuts because I'm from a southern family and everything either has meat or cheese or eggs or it's flavored with meat. It's just, and I can't eat anything. And that's fine. I have no problems with that. I'm perfectly fine to pack my own meals. But a lot of times people don't get it, and then you have to be in that position to explain your why. You're gonna have to defend yourself. And so learning to be able to explain it calmly and not getting defensive about it is something that I would make that decision and figure out why you're doing it. You know, if it's going to be a lifestyle for you, you have to know that why. You have to be able, that has to be a core part of why you're doing it, because otherwise if it's just some bad thing in 3 months, you're going to be like, well, I'm really tired of not being able to eat this cake or that chicken parmesan or whatever you're at a restaurant everybody else is eating that you can't. You know, you have to figure out why you're doing it if you want to maintain it. Tip number 5 is to find your resources. So one of the things that I did in the first year or two that I was plant-based was I had my like 3 places that I constantly went for recipes, and that was Minimalist Baker, Oshi Glows, and Nutrition Stripped. Always the 3 places that I would look, and for me that made it easier. Obviously the internet is very helpful in making this functional for people, because if you have a craving for something you can Google it, but know who your people are, know who your resources are, know where you're gonna find recipes so that you can meal plan and meal prep and get an idea of what a week looks like, so that you know and you can find recipes so you're not hungry all the time or you don't feel so limited. There's plenty of people out there who are creating healthier versions, alternative versions, just different versions of plant-based meals that you can have. So I would highly recommend finding your resources. Instagram's great. If you're not already following me there, please do. You know, YouTube is a wonderful, wonderful resource. There are tons and tons of great resources out there to kind of help you make this a lifestyle rather than just a diet. So that is all I have for this week. Those are my 5 tips for becoming plant-based. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the description box below, and I'll leave some links for things that I've referenced down there as well. And I will see you guys all next week. Oh, and if you haven't already subscribed, please click that button and like this video if you enjoyed watching. I'll see you guys all on Wednesday or Sunday. We'll see. Bye guys.